Jai Shri Gurudev. Good afternoon, one and all.
Students, in our previous class, we have discussed about Thomson model and Goldstein model about atoms. Yes, in this session, now we are going to discussing about Rutherford's model of an atom. Yes, Hans Rutherford was interested in knowing how the electrons are arranged within an atom. Rutherford designed an experiment for this. In this experiment, fast moving alpha particles were made to fall on a thin gold foil. Yes, he selected a gold foil because he wanted as thin a layer as possible. This gold foil was about 1000 atoms thick. Alpha particles are doubly charged helium ions since they have a mass of 4 units. The fast moving alpha particles have a considerable amount of energy. Yes, it has the helium mass is 4 units. It was expected that alpha particles would be deflected by the subatomic particles in the gold atoms. Since the alpha particles were much heavier than the protons, yes, this Rutherford model of an experiment results. Most of the fast moving alpha particles passed straight through the gold foil. Some of the alpha particles were deflected by the foil by small angles. Surprisingly, 1 out of every 12,000 particles appeared to rebound. So these are the results. Then what are the postulates of this theory? So the postulates of this theory are the experiments, Rutherford experiments concludes following features. There is a positively charged center in an atom called the nucleus. Nearly all the mass of an atom resides in the nucleus. The electrons revolve around the nucleus in circular orbits. The size of the nucleus is very small as compared to the size of an atom. Yes, those are the postulates. Then some drawbacks are also there in the Rutherford's model of an atom. The revolution of the electron in a circular orbit is not expected to be stable. Any particles in a circular orbit would undergo acceleration. During acceleration, charged particles would radiate energy. Thus, the revolving electron would lose energy and finally fall into the nucleus. If this was so, the atom should be highly unstable and hence matter would not exist in the form that we know. We know that atoms are quite stable. So this is what the Rutherford model. In order to overcome the objections raised against the Rutherford's model of an atom, Niels Bohr put forward the following postulates about the model of an atom. Yes, only certain special orbits known as discrete orbits of electrons are allowed inside the atom. While revolving in discrete orbit, the electrons do not radiate energy. Now let's see how the Niels Bohr's model explains the energy levels. See, each atom has nucleus at its center. Each and every atom has nucleus at its center. Nucleus is embedded with proton and another subatomic particle. I will call it later. I will tell about that later. Yes, around this nucleus, energy levels are there, or the shells are there, or the orbits are there. You know what is the purpose of these orbits? Yes, these orbits helps to revolve the electrons around this nucleus. The orbits, shells or energy levels helps to revolve the electrons around this nucleus. Yes, these are called what? Energy levels. Let's discuss. Yes, now see what will be there in nucleus. I said proton and another one subatomic particle, that is neutrons, will be there. You know what are neutrons? You know who discovered the neutrons? Yes, the neutrons also a subatomic particle like proton. The neutron was discovered by James Chadwick. The neutrons were discovered by James Chadwick in 1932. Like proton, neutrons are also having same mass. Mass will be same as proton. Yes, what about charge atom of hydrogen. So that's why the atomic mass has to be defined by using this one also. You know what is atomic mass now? The total number of protons and neutrons. The protons and neutrons are combined to form atomic mass. So this is about neutrons. Dear students, let's discuss or let's see how the energy levels are being described, how the energy levels are being formed. Yes, the energy levels. See, we can name these energy levels as K shell, L shell, M shell, N shell. K, L, M, N are the numbers like N is equal to 1, N is equal to 2, N is equal to 3, N is equal to 4. So these are the orbits that helps for the electrons to revolve around the nucleus in a distinct space. It maintains its spaces. So let's see what are the holding capacity or how much capacity of electron each shell can hold. Let's see. So K shell. So K shell. See K it indicates K shell. How much number? N is equal to 1. So each energy level, each orbit's combined capacity has to identify using the formula 2n squared. The formula of 2n squared can show the capacity of holding electrons. So 2n squared means, yes, 2, the K shell n is equal to 1 means we have to put 1 for the n place. So 1 squared, so 2 into 1 squared means 1, so 2 is a. So the maximum capacity of holding electrons in the K shell is 2, whereas the L capacity 2n square means n is equal to 2 here. So n is equal to 2 means you have to put 2 for n place. So 2 into 2 is 4. So 2 4 is 8. So the capacity of holding electrons in the L shell is 8, whereas M shell 18. How to do over yourself? 18, 32, like this, the energy levels will go. So this is what the combining or the maximum holding capacity of electrons. How many electrons can be there in each orbit? Means a K shell can hold 2 electrons, L shell can hold 8 electrons, M shell can hold 18 electrons, N shell 32 electrons, and so on. So this is what the energy levels that are proposed by Niels Bohr. Thank you, friends. Now let's see atomic structure of this Niels Bohr's model. Let's discuss how the atomic structure can be calculated. Yes, atomic structure. See, it's a nucleus. I'm going to write the atomic structure of hydrogen now. Hydrogen. See, its nucleus. Hydrogen atom. What is the atomic number of hydrogen? 1. So the electrons present in the hydrogen is 1. So the orbit, the first orbit, that is the K orbit, has how much electron in outermost shell? 1 electron. Whereas helium has, what is the atomic number of helium? 2. Means the electrons will be there at 2. So 2 electrons can be accommodated at the outermost shell, that is the K shell. The helium 2 electrons, it is completely filled. But here hydrogen is only 1 electron. Still, how much electrons it need to complete? It octet structure or noble, nearest to noble gas. Its nearest to noble gas is helium. So it still need 1 more electron. So that's why it is ready to combine with other elements at the same hydrogen element. Yes, next one, lithium carbon. Let's see one more example of carbon. So carbon atomic number 6. So 6 means, so first shell, that is K shell, capacity of K shell is already know about that, 2 electrons. 1, 2. Next, out of 6, it has given 2 electrons to K shell. Still, how many electrons are there? Still, 4 electrons are there. So 4 electrons means, so 1, 2, it is ready to give all its 4 electrons. So 4. So still we already discussed about the carbon. So its outermost shell has 4 electrons. Means these 4 electrons are called what? Valence electrons. So now it is still need 4 electrons to complete its octet structure or nearest to noble gas. So this also, so hydrogen has, the carbon is also ready to give or ready to combine with another atom. So it is ready to combine with another atom. Yes, like this, students. Now we have to write first 20 elements atomic structure or atom structure. So one more example, oxygen. What is the symbol of oxygen? O. Yes, the atomic number of oxygen is 8. Yes, students. Now see, how can we write the electronic configuration or atom structure means, see, atom element oxygen as first K shell, it is completely filled by 2 electrons, then L shell, see, 8 out of 8 electrons, it has given 2 electrons for K shell means, still how many electrons it has? 6 electrons. 6 electrons are automatically filled into the L shell. So still to complete its octet structure, still it needs 2 electrons. So these 2 electrons, to accept these 2 electrons, it is also ready to combine with other atoms. So this is what atom structures. The electronic configuration of oxygen is 2, 6 or 1s2, 2s2, 2p, 4. So the electronic configuration of carbon is 2, 4. Whereas let's see one more greatest element. So that is chlorine atom. Yes, let's see the chlorine. See, chlorine atomic number will be 17. Atomic number will be 17. The electronic configuration is 2, 8, 7. 2, 8, 7. So the atoms will be formed K, L, M. See, 2 electrons are still into K shell, L, M. Then 8 electrons completely filled. L shell has been filled by 8 electrons. 3, 3, 6, 7. Then remaining outermost shell, 7 electrons has to fill the last shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Still it needs how much electron? The outermost shell should have to complete its octet or nearest noble gas means still it needs one more electron. It is also ready to combine with another chlorine atom. So this is what the atom structures. Yes, students, it's your homework. What it means? See, the homework is write the atomic number, symbol, electronic configuration of first 20 elements. Yes, students. Now let's see what is valency. Let us see what is valency. Yes, valency. Valency. Yes, you know what is valence electrons? Already know about this. Valence electrons means the outermost shell, the number of electrons present in the outermost shell. Outermost shell means, for example, the oxygen atomic number is 8 means 2, 6. So here the outermost shell is 6. It is the first shell, the second shell means outermost shell. So 6 is the example, oxygen as well. So 2, 6 means, so outermost shell has valence electrons as 6. So still it need how much electrons to complete its oxygen structure? Yes, 2. So this 2 is the valency now. So the combined capacity, how much electrons it need to combine means, so that will be the valency of each and every element. Whereas carbon, so the atomic number of carbon is 6 means the electronic configuration of carbon will be 2, 4. So here the valence electron of the carbon is 4. So 4 will be the valence electrons means the valency would be 4 because it is ready to combine 4 electrons. So that's why the valency of carbon will be 4. Dear students, did you understood about this?